What up, what up? In this video, we're going to break down why your dating life sucks. But let's give it just a minute, see if a few people can pop in here, and then I'll rock and roll. I'm going to be going over a few reasons why your dating life sucks. And I'm going to give you 6 solutions to help solve it. And so let's just give it another minute, and we'll get rocking and rolling. Hope you all are doing good. Man, powerful topic, right? I want you to move from scarcity into abundance. I'm going to show you a little bit how to do exactly that. Okay, let's get rolling. The first reason why your dating life sucks is because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Just the reality of it. It's like anything else. There's an art form to it. There's a skill to it. I call it the 2 F's. You're relying on fame or fate. And so fame is, you're famous. It's easy, but you probably ain't famous. The second thing is you rely on fate, some fucking like fairy tale bullshit where you're going to meet somebody and you're going to be on the bus and, oh my God, we ran into each other and we love each other. It's so amazing. That's a fairy tale. Let's call that the 1%, hitting the lottery. The reality is you have to put action behind everything to create momentum, to create abundance. Because when you're in scarcity, just like that example in your fantasy world, you're going to push the thing away. They'll feel that energy coming off and coming from you. I'll explain that more in detail in a second. But you're living in the 2 F's, the fantasy of just that it's going to be, fame or fate that's going to lead you there. The second is your ego is in the way. Oftentimes, especially men, like you think you should have this figured out. Like, oh, I get girls. Oh, I got this. Like, it's the locker room talk. Like, oh yeah, we did this. I got this girl. Oh man, these chicks like me. And so when you admit vulnerability about your dating life, it feels like you're diminishing yourself, which is why it's so hard for you to actually talk to women because your ego is connected to it, which is also why it's so fucking important to talk to women because they will help you annihilate your ego so you can bring your deeper core essence forward. And that's actually when you get a lot of attraction. Again, powerful concept. I'll help break it down here more in a minute. But your ego's in the way. It's too hard for you just to ask for help or say to your friend, like, yo, what are you doing, man? Like, you're really good at this. Sometimes someone will be a natural at these things. Watch them, see what they do, see their flow. Or, like I said, it's an art form, and we're going to break some of this down. Learn the actual skill sets behind this so you can improve your dating life. Like, you can learn things about dating and about attraction that you can apply to other areas of your life. It's also going to help you in business, in your career, in your ability to make money, in your ability to persuade and sell. All those kinds of things overlap. So I'll help you break that down as well. But you got to get your ego out of the way. Like, yo, it ain't personal, dog. Like, just you don't have you're trying. You're like a dog chasing its tail. You're trying. You're putting effort out there, but you're just spinning in circles. So we have to get you pointed in the right direction is all. Get your ego out of the way. And then the last thing, perhaps the most important, is you don't take action. And so, again, for men, it's easy for us to stay in our logical mind. Like, it's much more enjoyable for you to stay in the theory about things. Let me read this. Let me watch a video. Let me learn about attraction. Let me work on myself in the gym even. Like, these are all things that are easy to control. But then the chaos comes when you actually go out and apply it. When you actually go approach and talk to a woman, or you enter into a group of people and try to create energy and have people be attracted to you, create magnetic energy is what I like to call it. And so that's the actual action part of it. And you understand when you do this, when you take action, that you build real life data points. And when you build real life data points, you can do what's called tweaking the dial, make adjustments to get better results. But here's the other thing you're doing. When even taking action gets annihilated when you drink alcohol. And I don't want to go on a rant about why you should or shouldn't. But if you drink alcohol, as you know, it'll kind of put you into state, right? You loosen up a little bit, blow off the steam, we're out with the guys. But the reality is that you're using a substance to override what you can actually work through completely sober. And when you work through it completely sober, yes, you're going to feel a little more awkward. Yes, it's going to be a little harder. It's going to take you longer to get there perhaps. But you learn how to do it. And so then you can do it during the day when you're at the grocery store or again at nighttime or whatever it is. Like, you're learning the actual skill set rather than just getting this override through substance. And so then when you get an override through substance, of course, alcohol has a compounding effect, right? The next day you feel like shit, you think a little bit slower, your productivity is not as good. And then you're trying to do other things in life. You're trying to probably build your career, build a lifestyle, but alcohol keeps kind of knocking you down. And so rather do the hard thing. It's like jumping into a cold plunge. Like that shit sucks, but it's powerful. You know, every time you do it, you feel better afterwards. And so it's the same thing. Try going out sober or approaching women during the day when you're sober and make those connections so you can actually learn the skill set and build a real life reference point that you can like draw on when you need it. So you're looking to do that when you take action. And, you know, it's kind of like, as an example, right? Like, I don't golf, right? I've golfed a handful of times. But if you said right now, hey, Troy, there's a bucket of balls. Here's a driver. Go hit those golf balls. It sounds fun. I would like to do that. I'd probably fucking suck. Like, I'd miss. If I hit them, they'd probably just go spinning off to the side, wherever, slice it, whatever it's called. But now imagine, like, I start to judge myself. Like, I'm like, oh, God, I'm terrible at golf. I suck at this. I'm so bad. I'm just not going to do it. You ain't golfed, right? You don't golf. You don't do it. And so actually, like by crafting the art form, you get better at it. So it's the same thing with attraction. What I want you to understand is that attraction and dating is not a light switch, meaning it's not like it's on or off, like you have it or you don't have it. And that's how most of you think. You think like, I'm not that attractive. I don't have it. So I'm going to rely on fate. That ain't it, homie. That ain't it, right? It's more like it's a volume knob. What you do is you learn to tweak the dial. So even when you go out, let's say you go out during the day and you're like, you know, I'm going to walk up and just talk to 5 people, men or women, 10 people, men or women. As you do this, your first interaction, you might feel kind of awkward. You might sense it in them a little bit. It doesn't go anywhere. Rather than the light switch, oh, I don't have it. Just tweak the dial. What did I do? Maybe I was a little too stiff. I was a little too logical. I didn't give them space to kind of communicate in the conversation. I asked too many questions. Whatever. I need to make some statements. I need to relax a little bit. I need to actually approach them like they're a real person. I'm just socializing. I need to let go of an outcome. Like I have something I want to achieve out of this. Just go talk to people. Like be like a child again. Be playful. Be loose. Connect to emotions. How about adding some humor? And so then you go do it again. You add a little bit of humor. You make fun of the environment or something about the situation or about yourself. And you notice the connection goes a little bit further. Oh, there it is. I'm doing it. Tweak the dial a little bit more. And so over and over you do it. Just again, like me hitting the golf balls. If I just go up there and try to whack the thing, I don't really know what I'm doing. But if I slow down and I kind of work it over and over, I'm like, oh, when I slow down, I actually get better. Oh, when I, whatever, hold my arms a certain way, I get better. Maybe I get a coach and say, hey, like, what do I do here? I really don't know how to do this. Oh, your feet are all fucked up. You're swinging like a baseball bat. Whatever. That's going to help me out. That's tweaking the dial. So I want you to understand, first and foremost, that with dating and attraction, you don't know what you're doing, but it ain't really your fault. But when you get the ego out of the way, then you can start to actually learn. You can learn there's an art form to it, that there's layers to this game. And that can be one of the most powerful things that you can do in your life, because relationships take time and time is your life. And so think about that. Like when you're in scarcity and you don't have a lot of options, what are you doing? You're taking what you can get. And then you're taking that which you can get, which maybe isn't the best for you, and you're allowing that to kind of encapsulate years of your life. So think about that. Like if you're a woman, you only have a certain amount of years that you can reproduce, like quite literally, right? There's only a certain amount of years. So if you're not screening men, if you don't have options, if you're not in abundance, if you don't think confidently about yourself, you're giving up years of your reproductive value. Now for men, right, wrong, or indifferent, a lot of your value is going to come from what you produce, the things you make, the money you make. It's just kind of what it is, right? Like that's a lot of the value you'll provide. Of course, there's many other amazing things about you, but that is part of it. Now, what's one of the things that can ruin that as quick and fast as like can be? A bad relationship. It can be toxic. It can drain the life force out of you. If you've been in a relationship like that, you know that at the end of that relationship, sometimes you don't even know who you are. And so if you aren't screening, if you don't have a lot of options, if you aren't choosing from abundance, then you'll take what you can get. You're in a scarce frame, and then you're wasting your years. So understand how important it is to go through what I'm about to share with you right now, these 6 steps. There's more, but these are kind of like 6 very, very important steps that I want you to understand, because this is massive for you in your life. Okay, number 1 is you have to get very clear on what you want. If you're not, look, like I've done this enough and worked with enough people to know that you probably think you know what you want, but 1 is you're not very, very clear on it, and 2 is you don't have leverage over yourself. And I'll break that down, what that means. You have to like really fucking know what you want, like exactly what you want, and then get leverage over yourself. Meaning you have to realize what that will actually do for you in your life, like what that will look like. Like I want whatever you want. Like maybe you want a monogamous relationship. Maybe you want a dating lifestyle where you date multiple people. Maybe you want to get married. Maybe you want to get married, have a family. All those, it doesn't matter. That's up to you. It's all beautiful, right? You get to choose that. But whatever it is, you have to get very clear on that. Like, this is what I want. And then you have to ask yourself, what will my life look like when I'm experiencing that? When I actually choose from abundance, I have a quality partner who adds to my life, right? Like, what is that going to do for you? Get very clear on that. Then you also have to answer the question, if I don't do that, if I don't create this in my life, what does that look like? I'll be alone. I won't have a lot of options. What is that going to feel like? And then you go back and forth and do it again. Again, go deeper. Okay, it'll create this in my life. And what will that do? And what will that do? And you go further and further. And you get leverage. Like, write that shit down and see it and feel it. Because as humans, what moves us is emotions. And so when you just think about a goal, you're like, oh, I want, a family. I want a wife with kids. That's not deep enough. It's not going to give enough emotional. It's not going to give you enough emotional leverage to actually do the thing. And so rather, you have to write down, what will that do for you in your life? It'll feel this way. I'll get to experience these types of things. I'll have kids who can pass on my family lineage. I'll have experiences that maybe other people don't get to have. I'll get to go kind of reinvent my own childhood in some fun ways through them and with them. I'll get to explore and experience the world through a child's eyes. See how I'm getting emotionally connected to it. If I don't do that, this is what life is going to look like. Okay, the reason that's so important is because then you can block out anything that distracts you. And this is where you are fucking up in life. I'm telling you right now. If it comes to your health, wealth, or money, this is where you fuck up. Is you think you have time and you're not clear on where you're going and what you want and why it's important. And since you think you have time and you're not clear on where you're going, you hang out with people who also waste time and therefore waste your time. You spend your time doing dumb shit. Like, maybe you're single, right? You want to create a family, and then you get invited out by another couple, right? Who's already together. They, very nice of them, but they invite you to dinner, right? What are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Why on a Friday night or a Thursday night, if that is your goal, are you not out with your friends, meeting people? Again, go sober. You don't even have to drink. If you're worried about, oh, I don't go blow yourself out. Go sober. Go meet people. Go do something social. Be part of a club or a hobby where it's social and you can meet other people. Go to the gym, right? Go join yoga. There's all kinds of clubs that you can join for free. Do these things. Why are you not doing that? And you're at the dinner with some fucking people. What are you going to do? Maybe by fate, meet somebody? Nah, like, put action behind it. You see how you're wasting your time? You're not getting specific ROI on exactly what you want. Okay, so maybe you get invited by the guys. Hey, let's go golf. Sounds cool. Do that every now and then. But again, it's not moving you towards exactly what you want in life. Like, is that getting you closer to your goal? Maybe we could find some roundabout ways that it is. But the reality is you have to get very precise on exactly where you're going. Have to get like leverage over yourself and take that action. The second thing is, by not taking action, by not getting enough reps, you're like me trying to hit the golf ball. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So of course I'm going to suck. And so then when you go talk to a girl, you come across as awkward. You're stiff, you're rigid, you're tight. You get thrown into your head. You probably felt that before. Like, you run out of things to say. Well, how do you get better at that? There's things you can do, right? Like becoming more present in your body, introducing yourself, leaving room in the conversation, making statements, being more emotional based, learning to laugh at yourself. Don't take the moment so serious. Realize that like women move through emotions. So the more you can play with, metaphorically play with them, like make them laugh and make fun of yourself or the environment, the more engaged they're going to be. But that's going to take time to do that. So by taking action, getting over your awkward moments, and the key is not to judge yourself, just like me hitting the golf ball. Like, if I suck at that, I fucking suck. It reminds me, I was playing baseball with one of my kids, and we just started playing baseball together. Like, he's hardly played at all. And he gets all upset because he's like striking out or something like that. I'm like, yo, homie, I'm like, you ain't good enough to get mad about this. And he kind of like stops. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, you've hardly played baseball. Like, why you don't have the right to get upset about this, right? And he's like, oh, yeah, you're right. If you played this for 15 years and you struck out, like, damn, I put the work in and I fucking, the moment didn't work out. I'm upset. I get it. But if you ain't put the reps in, there ain't nothing to judge. And regardless, don't judge yourself. By you taking action, by you even approaching somebody and trying to work on your dating life, that's a beautiful thing. You've already won. So honor that about yourself. Learn to honor right action versus the outcome. That's fucking massive. That can change your life right there in all things. Learn to honor right action. So the action that you take towards something versus the actual outcome. Because what you're relying on is the outcome. You want her to like you. You want her to validate that you're worthy, that you're enough as a person. And so you're stiff, you're rigid, you're playing tight. It's like fighters. They often, if you watch a fight, you can tell when a fight is two fighters trying not to lose versus trying to win. Trying not to lose, they play safe, they don't take a lot of shot, a lot of risk. But when fighters are just trying to win, they fucking wing it. And those are the ones that people like to watch. Like, yo, that's what's up. So you're doing the same thing. Play to win, play to win, play to win. Quit being so tight, so rigid, and get the reps and stop judging yourself. And you feel naturally, through volume, less awkward. So next, you got to take care of your body, right? Like your mind and your body kind of work together. Like you will not be as sharp as you can possibly be if you're eating bad food, if you're not exercising, if you're not sweating a lot. Think of sweat as like it's cleansing your body. It's getting all the toxic shit out, as well as your thoughts, just clearing your mind. And so, not that your body is everything. I don't want you to think that, because it's certainly not. Like, I mean that. Like, I've seen dudes who do not have great physiques have massive success with their dating life because they master a lot of these things that we're talking about. And even as women, like women, it's not that they're going to like dislike an attractive body, but it's not the main thing for them. Like a lot of guys who just have like, you know, they eat good, maybe they don't even exercise a lot. To them, that's like really attractive. They're like, wow, he's in great shape. Like you'd be shocked what they think a great shape or a great body actually is. So don't overdo that, right? But give yourself an advantage, at least an opportunity to improve a little bit through your looks, and it'll be good for you. It's something challenging that you can do that, again, men, we like to control some stuff, not all things, hopefully, in our life, but some stuff. And your body is something you could put more of that control energy towards, right? So you can work on that control, those control muscles a little bit and put it into your exercise. Work on that. Stay consistent with that. And it teaches you consistency in things. That's one of the most powerful, like, traits you can develop as a person is to learn to be consistent, right? If you actually want a result, what the fuck do you have to do? You have to put repetitive effort towards something over and over again. It's easy to quit. And the difference is you learn along the way. Like, okay, so jiu-jitsu, done it for over Brazilian jiu-jitsu, over a decade. Guess what the difference between me and someone else is? I just been tapped out a whole fucking bunch. In the beginning, you get tapped out over and over and over. And pretty soon it's less and less. And pretty soon you start tapping people out. And pretty soon you hardly get tapped out. And then it gets really hard to even remember the last time you got tapped out. And you're tapping a whole bunch of other people out. And it's just fucking consistency. That's it. You just show up. You let go of the ego. You allow yourself to learn, but you stay consistent over and over and over again. Anything that you're good at, which you are, there's things that you're like an expert, you're a black belt at. It was just you being consistent with it. So you can apply that to this as well. Be consistent with your approach towards dating in general. The next thing is you have to have a social media profile. And I know for a lot of people that's like, oh, I hate social media. Motherfucker, I do too. Like, I'm not a 13-year-old chick, right? Like, I don't enjoy being online. I don't enjoy flicking through social media. But what I want you to think about is rather than being a consumer, meaning you consume the content, be a creator of it. So just post your shit and then you can get rid of it. And there's actually an art form to it that I'll kind of touch on. But the reason why it's so important is because let's say two things, right? Let's say somebody meets you and they get your name or whatever. They're going to want to learn a little bit more about you, aren't they? So how would they do that? They want to socially validate. That's what women want to do, right? They want to like, that's why like if a girl sees you with another group of girls, it kind of in her mind goes, oh, he's probably like a safe, he's guy, he's not probably a nice guy, whatever. And they're more likely to talk to you because you've been validated by other women. Your social media profile is doing the same thing. If you don't have a social media profile, just ask yourself this question. Be fucking honest. What does that say about you? Like literally, what does that say about you? Like if you're in the dating realm, right? Like you can't even figure that shit out. Like why the fuck don't you have a social media profile? Like what, you don't do shit, right? Like what's going on? And so when you have one, it immediately puts you a step ahead of any guys who don't. Easy to do. All you have to do is get 6 pictures. This is like your inside tip here, is get 6 pictures that show you in a decent like spotlight doing some cool shit, whatever. There's layers to it that we can go deeper, but just start with 6 pictures. That'll fill out your profile grid or whatever. cool pictures of you doing some shit. So when they get your Instagram, they can look and go, oh, okay, he's a real person. Looks like he does some cool stuff. The next level would be you to post stories as often as possible of you just doing the shit you would do. And so hopefully you have an awesome life, and then you just post stories of you doing cool shit in your awesome life. And so when you meet somebody, they can follow your social media and see that you do cool shit. The next thing it does is when you meet a woman, you don't have to ask for her phone number. Like, that's too intimate in my opinion, right? Like, you meet somebody real quick, hey, boom, boom, boom. Oh, you seem like a cool person. Hey, we have get-togethers every now and then. Do you have an Instagram? Easy, right? Versus, hey, can I get your phone number? Notice the shift in energy. It's like, oh shit, are we like dating? Like, what's going on? But if we exchange social medias, again, she can see your profile, follow along with your stories. Much easier to make those connections. That's so powerful and so valuable. Like, if you ain't doing that, what the fuck are you doing? Again, I talked about in the beginning. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Your ego's in the way and you're afraid to take action. I just told you a massive insight. You got to do it. That's the keys. You got to do it. Okay, number 5 would be to do dope shit. Like, you have to do cool stuff. When you have a lot going on in your life, it naturally creates an energy of, like, I don't have a lot of time, right? So I got to fit you in my schedule. It puts you into that abundance type of energy. Like, I'll get this a lot. Like, with what I do for my profession and coaching and whatnot, I'll get people who maybe want to work with me, or they have a question for me, want to ask me about something. And they'll often say, I know you're busy. And I always laugh because I'm like, no, you don't know that. Like, you don't actually know me, right? But I give an energy of that. I always display that out there because I want my time to appear to be valuable. Because then if you want to buy some of it, if you want to work with me, you got to pay for it. That's the way it should be, right? Same thing with a woman. So if they meet you, you don't want to create an energy where you're like, yay, I met a girl. I'm available whenever you are. Let's hang out. I'm so accessible. Who the fuck wants to hang out with someone like that? Because then they feel like overwhelmed by that energy. Like, damn, like, yo, I'm trying to walk down this journey with you together, not just be the journey. They don't want that. So every man has to have a purpose and a passion, and that to build a positive lifestyle. What you're doing is you're building this beautiful journey, and then you invite people onto it. I would even encourage you, like, when you meet a girl, again, you get the Instagram, whatever it is, invite them to do something that you already enjoy doing. You're inviting them on your journey so they can experience you, versus just stopping everything and going, hey, let's go on a date. Like, that's fucking weird to me. Like, every other dude does that and it's boring, right? And then you're just kind of falling into the group with the other guys and competing over the same shit. Nah, like, I'm a motherfucking dude on my journey, on my flow. Here's what I got going. My shit is dope. If you want to come hang out, jump on. They're going to dig that, actually. And they're going to go, and if you actually have cool shit going on, they're like, yo, that was sick. Like, what's next? You're like, hey, I like to do this. Let's go here. I like to do that. Because women want to be led in the relationship. You got to remember that. If you don't have shit going on, how the fuck are you going to lead? You can't. And so you got to build dope shit in your life so it's exciting for people to come into that journey. And that's men or women, like a guy too. If there's a guy I meet, I'm like, man, this guy seems cool. I feel like we could add a lot of value to each other. Yo, I'm going to this thing on Friday night, or I'm checking this out over this weekend. Link up. Much cooler than hey, let's sit down and have a fucking coffee date together. I ain't got time for coffee. I ain't got time for that shit. Like, if I'm not hanging out with my kids, adding value to the world, or moving towards my goals, you ain't gonna find me there. So let's move towards those things and people who are in that same direction. And then that leads to the last point, which is you have to create and choose from abundance. The reason your dating life sucks ultimately is because you're in scarcity. And when you're in scarcity, again, what do you take? You take what you can get. And what you can get is usually the leftovers, right? It's the people who are also in scarcity. And so you get two people who are in scarce frames latching onto each other. And then guess what happens? You've already done this probably. 2 years go by, you look at each other, you're like, this sucks. We're fighting all the time. Oh, let's break up. Because motherfucker, you weren't in abundance. And so when you're in abundance, you're always moving. You're always creating. You're just building a beautiful life for yourself and whoever's going to come along that journey. And some people are going to come on for a little while. Some people are going to come on for a longer time. And some people might go on for a really long time or the rest of your life. But you keep going with the journey. You keep building that beauty within it. You keep creating abundance. And you create abundance through massive action. You have to do the things that we talked about. Like, as you put these things in, you keep going, you keep building. That puts you into an abundant state. And then you go, hey, why don't you go out with me Friday? Why don't we go out Monday? Why don't we go out Wednesday? Whatever it is, You just fill out the energy, the layers. You're never overly attached to anything. And one girl wants to like, look, I was talking to a friend the other day. He's telling me, he's like, oh, I was hanging out with this girl for not even that long, like maybe a couple months or something like that. And then she kind of told me that we should just be friends or whatever. And he's kind of busted up about it. I'm like, bro, that's because you were in fucking scarcity. You know what I mean? Like, you finally met a girl, you stopped everything else. I didn't hear from you for 6 weeks or whatever it was. So you stopped building your positive lifestyle. She became your life, and then she left it. And so, of course, your fucking life sucks. Like, what do you think? And so you stay on your purpose, you stay in your journey. And I told him, if you meet her, continue to meet other people. That's okay. You don't have to date all of them, but meet other people. Stay active, still go out, still connect, still socialize. You don't have to be intimate with any of them, but you keep your flow going. So if she goes, hey, we should just be friends, cool, no problem. You probably got other girls waiting to hang out with you, or other opportunities, or other guys waiting to take you and go do something cool. Like, you stay in that momentum, you stay in abundance. And so get out of the frame of thinking it's this like fate-based thing that you're gonna bump into somebody, it's magic and it'll work out. It ain't that, homie. Like, you got to move and build abundance so you have options. And then maybe fate happens and someone wonderful walks in. That can also happen as well. But at least put your own fucking like work in as well. Put some effort into it. So, passionate subject. And look, this is coming from someone who's 43 years old, 3 kids, has been through a divorce. Like, you know what I mean? I ain't 25 anymore. I ain't out there like single dude. Like, this shit actually works. You know what I mean? When you put an action plan behind it and you learn and you put effort into it, you get good results in your life. It's a real fucking thing, because success leaves clues. And I'm showing you some motherfucking clues. All right, I hope this helped. So I got amped up and hyped about it, because it is important. And I've seen dudes, I'm telling you, get wasted by this shit. Like, wasted, like get wrecked. Girl breaks up with them and they're wrecked. Or guys who just can't figure it out and they're wrecked. And I don't want to see it happen to you. I don't want to see it fucking happen to you. And listen, it ain't like I'm special, right? That's why I said, yo, look at my life. I'm 43, this and that. I've been through these things. Like, I ain't just special, but I actually put fucking work into it. And when you put work into something, when you plant the seeds, you get to reap the fruits eventually. So that's what I want to see you do. All right. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Head over my website, troyfontana.co. My book is coming out like ASAP, like literally a couple of weeks, few weeks, maybe. We'll see. So I want you to tune into that, so you make sure you get your hands on a copy. It's going to be phenomenal. Love you so much. Until next time. Peace.